matters. From the dailies, the conversation never stops.
All right, studio time check. It's 9:35 on 939 Solutions FM. My name is Adedamola Lafenwa. The program is From the Dailies, and this is where we get to take you through the front page stories of newspapers. And as usual, I have Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe live in the studio with me this beautiful Monday morning, the 12th day in the month of May 2025. A beautiful morning to you, Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe.
Yes, a beautiful Monday morning to you, my dear comrade brother, and of course to our listeners and viewers wherever they may be located. It's another beautiful Monday morning in the sprawling city of Ibadan.
Okay, looking at Monday as usual, we have 5 newspapers, and all the papers we have this morning are quite loaded with so much interesting stories. One of such stories that caught my attention was the meeting held by PDP that Dakwa and I were discussing earlier on. And looking at the papers this morning, taking the account of the Nigerian Tribune, Wike Ikpeazu Ogwai Autumn attend PDP governors meeting, and Rider Saraki, Tambuwa, Lamido, Oyinola, Udom also in attendance. I mean, looking at these names now, you can tell that all the woo is woo in the PDP were present at that meeting. Well, page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune has that story. We'll talk more on that particular story. Unease over INEC's delay to conduct by-election in 12 states. And Rider, 2 Senate seats, 5 rep seats, 9 state constituencies affected. Okay, that's on the top headline on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And another one, NPA denies corruption allegations, says no misappropriation or misapplication of budgetary provisions. Away from that too, I am not going back to Aso Rock. Will campaign with Remi Tinubu in 2027. You want to know who said that? Patience Jonathan. I'm sure we all remember Mama Peace. I think that is resting the speculations that probably Goodluck Jonathan might be vying for the 2027 presidential seat come 2027. But the wife has come out to say that no, she's not going back to Aso Rock. She will rather campaign for Remi Tinubu. But it has another question. I mean,
Which is?
Jonathan and Mama Peace had been the PDP members.
Yeah, but in the body of the story, the woman said that Tinubu supported her husband's 2011 presidential.
Okay, so we have a case of another PDP person vying campaigning
for APC.
For APC. Okay, good.
Well, maybe just the person now.
Okay, Simi Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State, is in the news again, and his statement is being captured by all newspapers this morning. I am not desperate to return. My spirit has already left there. Fubara, page 22. We'll listen to that in the course of the program.
You
now,
see,
you said you want to say something?
You see, if you look, a deep analysis of the personality of the governor of Rivers State.
Suspended governor.
Well, whether suspended or not, he's governor because he's the one that was elected.
Elected,
And that
that's true.
mandate stands for 4 years, unless, of course, he's impeached or dies or whatever as provided.
Despite
for.
the suspension.
It is immaterial to his election.
Okay.
If you take a deep look at an analysis of Fubara's personality, it's been quite amusing to watch him. We'll get there.
When we get there, definitely. Okay, now, it's a Kiri, Yoruba. We need to work together. Alaafin and Rider, Warri Chiefs, others meet Oyo traditional ruler. And this is on health issue. Cancer before age 50 increasing in Nigeria. Experts raise alarm. Okay, moving away from the Nigerian treatment, let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper. And this one said, despite concerns, FD ramps up domestic borrowing to 10.85 trillion naira. And another one talking about the PDP defection. 7 PDP governors, Wike ex-governors, others meet on survival. And riders, Eno, Kefas, Diri, Fubara absent. Second rider, internal forces sabotaging Atiku's quiet efforts to stabilize PDP.
Who said that?
Aid.
Is Atiku trying to stabilize PDP, or is it
Atiku's aide said there are internal forces sabotaging Atiku's quiet efforts to stabilize
not
PDP.
even if quiet? Atiku has not made any well, not visible to the public to unify the party. No, Atiku has been a force that led PDP to where it is.
To where it is today. Okay, we'll talk about that in the course of the program. Now, LG polls protest trail Lagos APC primaries over Baba Sokwe's influence.
Who is the Baba that is Sokwe?
Well, many Nigerians know who the Baba is when it comes to
Baba
Lagos
Sokwe.
politics.
We had that in Oyo State too.
We had that.
In Oyo State?
It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, in another form, maybe.
Okay. Moving away from the Nigerian Tribune, let's take a look at, the Vanguard, let's take a look at the Guardian now. 2.37 trillion naira data expenses compete with food, others as Nigerians ration usage. I mean, despite the hike in tariffs for data, it's saying here that Nigerians are still paying more for data, and the service providers are still smiling to the banks.
Yeah, they're still smiling to the banks, but we must take cognizance of the fact that these service providers, most of what they do is dollar denominated. The infrastructure they put in place to conduct their business, even the payment of their staff at a certain level is dollar denominated. They're very well paid. Most of them are very well paid, and it is simply because it is dollar denominated. It has to be competitive to what they pay in other places in Africa. So, after 12 years, if they are granted 50% increment,
It's still fair enough.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Okay.
And, what they're making do with is volume. When you have volume, you have a high volume of turnover. That's what Nigeria. That's the attraction of the Nigerian market, the volume of turnover.
Okay, taking other stories now on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Defections. Wike joins PDP governors meeting in last-ditch efforts to save party. Well, some people will say indeed. Moving away from that, Dame Jonathan endorses Tinubu for 2027 poll. LG poll protests trail APC primaries over alleged imposition of candidates. Moving away from the Guardian newspaper, now let me look at the Punch newspaper briefly. I am not desperate to return as Rivers governor. Fubara, page 9 of the Punch has that story. Why Jonathan won't run against Tinubu in 2027? Patience, page 7. FD makes U-turn, endorses Senate Security Summit. Page 2 of the Punch has that story. PDP installs new BOT members as governors map party direction. And the biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper this Monday morning says Rivers emergency rule. FG taps ex-AGF 11 SANs as Supreme Court battle looms. And riders, Supreme Court may release hearing dates today. PDP Governor's legal team prepares as AGF says Governors Forum lack locus standi. Ayedatiwa Makinde Bamidele salute Afenifere leader Fasoranti at 99. FD state add 57 trillion naira to debt in 18 months. And the last one I'll be taking, NCAA under fire after plane strikes antelope on taxiway. I mean,
After
after a plane strikes antelope
that's
on taxiway.
so. What happened to the perimeter fencing?
Okay. Well, that is not an answer for me. I mean, an answer I can provide. But it's 16 minutes to 10. Let's go into the stories proper. Now, comrade, let's start with the PDP meeting. I want to take the account of.
You're particularly interested.
I'm so much interested in this PDP thing. Now, I want to look at the account of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, defection, 7 PDP governors, Wiki ex-governors, others meet on survival. Now, what really caught my attention was the presence of Nyesom Wike in that meeting. And like I was telling that, I saw the video when the governors were arriving at the Bauchi State Governor's Lodge in Abuja, where the meeting was held. And despite the fact that many other governors and dignitaries had come earlier, the moment a vehicle came out, a black G-Wagon car came in, and the occupant of that car stepped down, and everybody knew it was Wike. There was this, the voices of everybody present, because people were even shocked.
Talking about the devil.
I mean, and he obviously didn't even mind anybody. He just maintained his strong face, and he just moved into the. In fact, he didn't even attend. He didn't even respond to any of the greetings. He just moved. So the people are now asking that: can PDP be taken seriously?
How do you mean?
Now the meeting was held to push the party forward, to make the party move forward as they approach 2027
And he came
election.
to make his own contribution
As
a member of the PDP.
who is campaigning against PDP, who has openly said that PDP has no chance. I remember when Oborevori, the Delta State Governor, and Okowa defected 2 weeks ago. Wike came up and said that was a welcome development, that he was happy that they have moved away from a sinking ship. I mean, anybody that still has the interest of PDP shouldn't be making the utterances Wike is, which is now bringing the question as, is Wike that untouchable for PDP to slam at all? Accommodating his excesses, his gross excesses, or what can be more anti-party than what Wike is doing to the PDP?
Let me, when you see the name of some of the people that attended,
That were there, yeah.
the undertakers have moved in.
I like that. The Undertakers. Okay.
A person like Saraki is a major undertaker.
Okay.
In this ongoing transaction. I've told you on this platform that 2077 is the next election. Then by 2028, they are Oyinlola.
Yeah. We have Lamido, we have Tambuwa, we have Udom.
They are the undertakers.
Autumn.
They are the undertakers. They have moved in, and they are just going to take the carcasses of PDP and embalm it, so to say.
Okay, at the end of the meeting, Bala Muhammad, the governor of Bauchi State, gave a press statement. He addressed the press, and he had this to say after the meeting yesterday.
The chairman of the party and some members of the National Working Committee, essential issues, of course, that have been around in the media, within us, so that we'll be able to navigate smoothly the next that is scheduled to take place on the 27th of this month, and by August we will have an early convention. So many issues and frankness have been made, and it is an opportunity to close rank and to make sure that at least there is no ill feelings, there are no qualms, there are no misgivings between the leaders of the party. Governors of the party have reached out to our colleagues who have been there before, who have more experience, and who know so much in the way and manner that whatever suggestions or opinion they may have will go a long way in giving an added impetus to the actualization of our NEC and our convention that is scheduled to take on specific dates, and of course to reassure our teaming supporters that the PDP is working, the PDP is united, and in doing so, there are some missing gaps here and there. We set up a committee of 7 headed by His Excellency the former Senate President and of course former Governor of Kwara State to meet so that at least quick reconciliation and reach out will be made in such a manner that we will have a very rancor-free and harmonious NEC and convention. In a democratic setup like this that we have, and this is what is forcing us to come together, rather than diminishing us and making and weakening us, is making us stronger. We will make sure at least those chapters where we have history, where we have structure, are not left alone. They will be able to produce next governors of the PDP by the grace of God, because we will be providing the level playing field in the next convention that is coming up.
We understand that there are quite a lot of issues affecting the PDP, causing crisis within the party. In specific terms, what are the issues discussed in this meeting?
We cannot tell you some of the issues that we discuss. We discuss unity. Definitely there are some ill feelings, and we are not those that hide things under the carpet. You know some of them. Some of the litigations in court, some of the misgivings between party members, and of course, we wouldn't want to blame the APC for causing crisis, but they are likely to be the ones. We are not saying they are the ones.
Now, comrade, I love the last part of that statement made by Bala Mohammed when he was being asked about some of the crises affecting the PDP. He said they cannot rule out the fact that APC might have a hand in the crisis rocking the PDP. But this same person allowed, or this same group of people allowed Wike into that party
To continue
meeting.
to be... yes, I mean, Wike is legitimately a member of the PDP.
Okay.
And if they fail to discipline him, then that's a serious issue. Now, did you see the man that was made the chairman of the...
Yeah, Bukola Saraki has been made the chairman of the PDP Reconciliatory Committee.
I didn't even know that. He's a major pillar among the undertakers, Sule Lamido. That guy, and they say Sule Lamido, the man from Oshun.
Oyinlola.
Olagusoye. And a few others, they are the undertakers. They will take care. You see, not because PDP is dead. PDP is not dead. I mean, PDP cannot die.
You feel that the likes of Bukola Saraki have the power to salvage the situation of the PDP at the moment?
They have the wherewithal. They have the reach. They have been around in PDP. Some of the people causing trouble in PDP now. Yes, they will. Yeah, Wike could claim he was a member of the PDP, but at what level? You understand? At what level? The Sarakis were operating at the very topmost echelon right from 1991. His father was in APP, but switched over to PDP. I mean, by 1999, Bukola Saraki, 1999-2000, he was in the presidency.
But do you see PDP blooming again with Wike being a party? I mean, being a member, being involved in things they are doing to bring PDP back to life?
You see, we tend to place so much emphasis on Wike.
But you can't underestimate his power too, and his influence in the PDP, and he's already dining and whining with the APC.
The man that I guess is the major issue in PDP is the perennial presidential candidate, whose desperate life ambition is to be elected president.
We're talking about Atiku Abubakar now. Okay.
Atiku Abubakar is the cause
So
of all
you
this.
feel Atiku is doing more harm to the PDP than Wike?
He has done more harm. Because it was simply because of Atiku Abubakar that the zoning policy, unwritten zoning policy of PDP that was adopted in 1999, was turned upside down just to satisfy, just to make way for Atiku Abubakar. And it's not relenting, it's not even relenting. And it's a major instrument in this coalition, or whatever they call it. They say, so is Ibe spokesperson say that Atiku has been making quite effort uniting PDP. Uniting PDP and uniting the coalition. I mean, that's contrary to sense and absurd. That's the one they call preposterous. When you are building outside and you're suggesting that he's building PDP. No, he has been the single most. Look, he was the one that triggered all of this. You understand? In 2019, Tambuwa was going to be the presidential candidate with the support of a Wike who financed, bankrolled everything. You remember that thing was held, the convention was held in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt, yes.
And then suddenly the godfathers of PDP, you know, just sent word. They just sent Aliyu Guso to them in Port Harcourt. What do you think you are doing? This is not a battle for the boys. Oh yeah, give a ticket to, what do you call it? Atiku. And after that was done for Atiku, Atiku just, after the election, Atiku just went away and stayed in Dubai. And then, you know, somebody held the party together, financed, bankrolled, nationwide. And then you come back again. And by hook or crook, and then, you know, geopolitical manipulations, ethnic manipulations. And then a second time. But unfortunately, this time around, the man had his people entrenched top to bottom in the party. So he could dictate what occurred or what did not happen in the party. So Atiku now sees that the party is no longer a party platform for him, no longer available. Rather than reconcile and sacrifice personal ambition, he's looking for coalition now. You understand? Atiku has been the same. People tend to look at Wiki as the issue.
If, let's say, peradventure, Atiku decides to step out, I mean, step off this presidential ambition, do you feel it's enough for Wiki to retrace his steps?
It is not about Wiki. It is not about... Why are we playing so much?
You're saying it's not about Wiki?
Yes. If PDP can get its acts together, Wiki will become... Okay, what is this? Actually, when people see viability, if our governor sees that PDP is looking viable, they will rally behind whoever the PDP presents. It is not Wiki. Atiku is the issue. It is only the drama Wiki has created that is making it look as if Wiki is the singular most important.
So what Wiki is doing to the PDP should be overlooked, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that, but we should not stay focused on Wiki alone. There are other factors. The chairman of PDP Governors Forum, he has presidential ambition. And that is all he's interested in too.
Let me paint the picture clearer to you.
Or he has the ambition to get the ticket, not necessarily presidential ambition.
Let's assume that Atiku Abubakar decides not to run for presidency on the PDP. They get a Southerner as their candidate. Can they still be having this kind of meeting and Wike in attendance, and Wike can still be trusted in their midst? Because you seem to be undermining the influence. Because it's just like you are plotting against a perceived enemy, and you have a spy. Because Wike looks more like a spy of the APC in whatever plan they are doing in the PDP.
You know the funny thing? Some of them that are there talking PDP, are they going to support a PDP presidential candidate in 2027? That man, the man from Bauchi, has presidential ticket, not presidential ambition though. He had, somebody just wants to be, he's a former presidential candidate of the PDP. So he has presidential ticket ambition. And if there are no serious, also in 2023, he had presidential ambition, but he was practically called to order when he started saying a few things against Atiku. He was called to order. But of course, Wike is a rabble-rouser. Even in Rivers now. He's seriously in Rivers. What is the influence of Wike? What is, coming to votes and all of that, with all the rancor and all of the stuff that he has raked up against himself in Rivers State now. If they vote in Rivers, what do you think? And outside Rivers, what is his influence?
Now, last week, let's go to Labour Party now. Last week, Julius Abure and Farouk Omar were suspended for 6 months for party, how do they put this? Anti-party activities.
By
Nenadi Usman led faction.
What is has their legitimacy been tested in court? Where do they derive their own legitimacy from? Where do they say they derive it from?
Where I'm even going to is, if other parties can suspend members for anti-party activities, as we speak today, Wike seems to be untouchable. Because if you look at all other parties now that they are getting suspended for anti-party activities, none of them has done what Wike has done in the PDP as regards anti-party activities.
In 2023, disciplinary measures were taken against those 5 or so governors. Then they quickly turned around to withdraw. Have you forgotten? So some of these things, I think, with the appearance of the likes of Bukola Saraki, Sule Lamido, and all of it, just like I call them, they are the undertakers, they are around. And like I said, I think I said here too, that the owners of PDP, those are the representatives of the owners. Sule Lamido was there from the beginning. Bukola Saraki could have been young compared to
But he stepped off at a point before coming back.
Yes, he was in a new PDP. That's how he became. The only one that has been consistent is Sule Lamido in their midst. And I think
And
Oyinlola went to APC.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
He actually became national secretary. He was tipped to become the national. One of the major issues in APC was he was tipped to be the national secretary of APC at a point in time. Sule Lamido has been consistent. So with those other guys showing their face, that the second generation leadership of people like Sule Lamido, because Saraki had been in the presidency working with Obasanjo since 1999, and is a son of a political Baba Oloye, a great political tactician, and so they will rescue PDP after the election. They will get the you know the funny thing. I assume Wike will just fade away.
He will fade away. Well, time will tell. Still from the Dailyism Solutions 93.9 FM. So much said about PDP, but let's go to Rivers State, where we have another PDP governor, or suspended PDP governor of Rivers State, making a statement that has generated so much controversies on social media and virtually everywhere now. Yesterday, there was a service of songs held in honor of late Elder Edwin Clark. Simi Fubara, when it was time for him to talk, he made mention, he tried to caution, let me put it in his word, he cautioned people that had spoken before him. Because people were coming before him at that event saying that, okay, they were almost turning the event into a Fubara thing. So let's take a listen at what Simi Lalaye Fubara said yesterday at that event. And before I even say it, let me just say from the paper where he read it, he said, "I am not desperate to return. My spirit has already left there." Let's listen to Simi Fubara speaking.
Speaking publicly after the event of March 18th, I've been a bit careful because when I go for an event and the body language of the environment, if it's not in tune with what I believe in, I feel very unhappy. Because for a lot of you here, you don't know what the situation is. It's not about Oshobe. It gets to a situation where Oshobe don't solve problem. That is the truth. So for that reason, I'm a bit careful. But this particular event is something I honestly cannot avoid. Clark is a very special person to every one of us, and more especially to me. So I feel I'm indebted to him. Yes, I might have supported the burial program, but putting in my presence here is the most important thing. Before I go into the main business, because I found out that a good number of you deviated from the program today. The program is a tribute for Paklak. It's not an issue of SEUN Fubara. I am not disputing the message God gave to you, my bishop, but in this particular event, it's a message to talk about Paklak. Because the way you hammered it, when they live here, that is not the way to be presented. It will be similar if Fubara has gathered his supporters to make statements against the minister and the president. That is not what I need now. What I need now, even some of you, have you asked yourself, do you think I am even interested in going back there? I want to ask you, don't you see how better I look? Do you think I'm interested in it? If I have my way, I say it's here. This is an altar of God. I don't wish going back there. My spirit has left that place long ago. So all this, I want everybody to focus. Please, it's not everything you do. You think there's some fight you don't fight. There's some things you don't do because you need to ask the person. Does it want it? I have peace. If you have known me, you've been seeing me, you can say I look better now. In as much as we have things that we need to do for our state, we know people have made sacrifice for us, and we, one way or the other, have to stand by them. Does not mean that we should start firing without any target.
The voice of the suspended governor of Rivers State there, Sir Simeon Alayi Fubara, saying, I am not desperate to return. My spirit has left there a long time ago. What do you make out of that? Is that not... some people are beginning to interpret that as him being jittery, or maybe he just made a political statement with that.
There are some people in the public space that you have to watch closely and analyze their body language, their choice of words. Is another one of those people that I've watched in the past few years. The former president, Ebele Jonathan, is another one like SEUN Fubara. Both of them lack the gift of the gab. Their choice of words, their vocabulary and the deployment of it is limited, and so limited for the high public office they've occupied. You will recall that Jonathan said something to the effect that stealing is not corruption. And the whole of the Nigerian space went to town with that. Whereas what Jonathan was saying was that corruption is not limited to stealing. But because he lacked
the right use of words.
Yes. He lacked and still lacks. Because I say, watch him speak.
To express himself.
Fubara is in the same mode, at the same level. You see, elder statesmen, more senior citizens than you are, and you say, all of you.
Now, this is a man that a lot of women over the past few months have been protesting vigorously in Rivers State. Bring back our SEUN. Bring back our SEUN. Simeon Fubara is our man. And now coming up saying that his spirit has left that place. Is that not dampening the spirit of people back home agitating for his return?
Well, out of the abundance of the heart, you see, SEUN Fubara became a Captain General. I think it was on level 14 or 15.
Yeah.
When he was jumped over others to become. and then, chosen and foisted, you will see that sometimes office or title or whatever is foisted on you by circumstances, but you have to rise to the occasion. Even in spite of the fact that his government and governorship has been forged in this furnace of crisis, it's not looking or not sounding mature enough.
Because now he made that statement at a service of songs as a tribute in honor of Edwin Clark. And what came to my mind at first when I listened to that was, if Edwin Clark was still alive, would Edwin Clark have been happy at what Fubara said? Because Edwin Clark, till his last breath, kept on fighting on behalf of Simi Fubara. Let's take a listen.
I don't think they were fighting on behalf of
fighting
Fubara.
His cause.
He is just symbolic. He is just when we say
Fubara said it yesterday at that event. He said when he was alive, he was fighting on my behalf. That he never went to his house. That the only time he went to Edwin Clark's house was when he went to sign the condolence register. Yeah. But despite the fact that he never went to his house, that Edwin Clark kept on fighting on his behalf.
He thought Edwin Clark and others who are still fighting. They are not fighting for Sim Fubara. He should get that into his mind. It's just like, let's do the same thing with June 12. It wasn't about Abiola, and it is still not about Abiola. It is a symbolism that June 12 represents. So, it is not about Sim Fubara.
Now, a few weeks before Edwin Clark passed away, he granted this press interview. Let's take a listen. Late Edwin Clark, he said this.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Well, I call this as this emergency press conference because of what is happening, shameful things happening in the River State. It's being instigated by the former governor of River State, now minister of FCT, Mr. Wike. But before I make any statement, I've prepared a statement which will be read to you, and I want you to publish it. My own statement, which I've just put together this afternoon. I think there's something might be wrong with the minister of FCT, Mr. Wike. He's very arrogant, and he believes that everybody must listen to him. Who is he? When did he become what he is now today? He governed River State for 8 years, solid years, as a dictator, as an emperor. Nobody talked to him. Nobody directed him. Nobody interfered with his government. He treated the River people as if they were just people who should listen to him and nothing more. The same Wike made himself an APC man, and he said he's still in PDP. What side of person he is? We are watching to see what will be the end of the road for this man's political career. When he supported the present governor from the riverine area, everybody thanked him because the mainland had ruled this River State for 24 years, starting with Dr. Peter Odley, then Rotimi Amechi, then himself. In this case, he chose the man, the present governor, who worked with him as his accountant general for 8 years. Now he wanted to control him, control him from Abuja. It won't work. Leave the man to run his government. And I'm calling on River State people to stand by their government. River State is one of the oldest states in this country. And I know everything about River State. Yes, Wike is now the first to rule River State. Today, He has not even respect for those who put him in that office. When he was Minister of State in Education, former President Jonathan and his wife stood by him. We said, no, Wike cannot be governor. He hasn't got the temperament of being governor. And more so, the upland have got enough. They refused. Today, he does not respect them. He does not respect them. He believes a small God. I'm not surprised. He was a local government chairman. And today, he's now Minister of FCT, the second man from the south to occupy that office. So I'm calling on Mr. President Tinubu to call him to order and leave peace to reign under the present governor in Rivers State. We will not accept wicked dictation. He should mind himself. Take care of himself. He's becoming too dictatorial, too controversial. He's not the first person to be minister. Some of us have been ministers before.
Late Pa Edwin Clark speaking there, talking about this was few weeks before he eventually passed away. Now, a man that have said all this, to have listened to Fubara saying that his heart has left the office this man was fighting for till he died. I mean, but before you respond, let's go on this commercial break, comrade.
I am malaria, the king of malaria parasites. My mission is simple, to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on, come on, come on.
Effective relief from malaria. Comal on, malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
Consistent taste for cooking mouth-watering soups, stews, and jollof. Choose wisely. Choose Gold. Terra Gold Seasoning Cube.
1 cube. Endless possibilities. Terra Gold.
Law and order are essential goals of good governance in a civilized society. It is illegal and immoral to take the law into our own hands. Why take a life we cannot create? Violence, jungle justice, and mob actions are not solutions. We must stop now. Nothing justifies taking the law into our own hands. We must follow due process, report, hand over suspects to law enforcement agencies. They are established to enforce the law and ensure offenders are held accountable. Our justice system is active and working. The government remains committed in tracking down offenders and ensuring justice is served. Mob violence is never the solution. Stay alert, speak up, uphold the law. We are civilized people in Nigeria. Together, let's stand for peace, for the law and order, and for justice. Say no to mob action and jungle justice.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
How do we make our cooking come alive? Oh, for that tasty meal where you like, oh. I mean, you want cook food to impress, oh.
Whether it's jollof or na stew, even for porridge or spaghetti, cook to impress with Pepper Terra.
All right, it feels so good to be back after that short commercial break. It's still from the dailies in case you're just tuning in, and it's on Solutions 939 FM. Okay, comrade, before we went to that commercial break, we both listened to Pa Edwin Clark, late Pa Edwin Clark, and so let's juxtapose.
Yeah, you see, that's what they call the burden of office. And it is from that angle that what Fubara said about the spirit has departed the government house. I don't envy public office holders. It comes with a lot of burden. But you have a responsibility, you understand?
Most definitely.
You have a responsibility. Especially when you have convictions like he does, you understand, about public funds, about the deployment of it, about the deployment of power, and all of that. And especially with this emergency, he has a responsibility to the people. He was elected, whether it was prodded, whether it was foisted,
because the statement there is like letting his supporters down.
Yeah, that you see, it's a peep. Some of these things, you see, when you occupy public office, you have two faces. You have the public face and you have your private face. But there are some of them, I've seen a few people like that. There is no distinction between their public and private faces. You just see them naked, so to say.
Like Wiki.
So we saw him, we saw
Wiki.
We saw him naked. Just who he is.
Is this not another pointer to the fact that, a lot of people have been saying that Fubara has never been a politician, that he was co-opted into politics? Because a politician wouldn't come up and make such statement.
No.
In the face of the massive support he's been getting back home.
Yeah, but he's not a politician. He never pretended to be one. An accountant general? No. Career civil servant all his life. I think it was the level 14, if level 15 at all, before he was jumped over to become the accountant general. And he got the protection of the man who wanted him for whatever reason, So he's, I think the first year, especially with the imposition of, emergency rule in River State, he has gotten his baptism of fire. Yeah. He will, when he returns.
And not forgetting the fact that PDP governors are still pushing for his return at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, you see, some of these things are not, it's just symbolic.
He has overwhelming support.
He has overwhelming support. But some moments he just lowered his guard. His guard was down and we saw him naked as Saint Fubara, with or without the title of governor. That was a vulnerable moment. And
which he should be pardoned of.
Well, ultimately, we're flesh and blood.
Okay. All right, let's go on another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up on today's edition of From the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM.
No buy am. But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull Rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull Rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
All right, as we wrap up things on today's edition of From the Dailies, let's take this story. And this is coming from Lagos State. Lagos polls protest trail Lagos APC primaries over Baba Sokpe's influence. Now, this Baba Sokpe is still something we can talk about, godfatherism. Like people just sitting in his room or in his office and appointing, saying that, okay, this is the person, this is my beloved son.
This is my candidate.
This is my candidate in whom I'm well pleased. And people are now, it has now generated protests. Now, can this Baba Sokpe thing be removed totally in politics?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We saw it in Oyo State, not far from here. Everything was distributed politically from Molete in the days of Baba. And it was, it was forced down everybody's throat and everybody complied. And that was just it. And of course, in Lagos, and you know the peculiarity of
Lagos, yes.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu had always been in charge since 1999. Even when he was out of office, out of power, and he maintained the hold. And he had organized. He had a structure. He has such a structure, with the GAC at the topmost level, and then everything down to the grassroots. And it has been functional and effective. So, and some people, it is not that the man decides, directly about everything. He will have interest in some people, but he will be relying on people on ground too. And that is why he has that control, because he listens to the people, you understand, who are in charge. And so, look at what happened in Lagos. For God's sake, he got that speaker back into office. That was spectacular show of power. And everybody complied. That was spectacular. Say whatever you might want to say, but that was a real spectacle.
Unprecedented, if I
in
must say
show
that
of
too.
power. And it is to safeguard, safeguard certain situations. So, it is not strange. Everybody will fall in line.
But this Baba Sokpe thing has been going on in many states, but Lagos being a standout state, it has generated protests now. People are saying no more Baba Sokpe.
Protest is legitimate. Protest is legitimate. I mean, it's okay. I mean, we are not particularly pleased. We have other opinions. We could have done it like this. And they will just tell the noted.
But we are talking. Then what is now the essence of primaries being conducted? When there is a Baba Sokpe, primaries is meant to at least put the candidates on board, on the table. Let them go into election and let people vote the candidate they want.
Don't forget that the Electoral Act of 2023 provides for 3 options.
Okay.
Consensus, direct primaries, and indirect primaries. So those options.
The consensus, who makes the decision when it comes to consensus?
Consensus is a general agreement,
But it can't be likened to Baba Sokpe, because Baba Sokpe sounds more like an individual making that decision.
That is the way it is being projected. If Baba Sokpe and people, some tend to agree. And people are registering their discontent.
To what Baba said?
Yes.
Okay, if
Baba Sokpe, it is Baba, it does not necessarily mean Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I'm not even putting Bola Ahmed Tinubu in that picture now. But there's a Baba somewhere.
Yes.
That has made the announcement that okay, this is the person we are putting down.
Let me give you the precise.
As we wrap up.
If they say Baba Sokpe, there is one man who is the ultimate leader. He's not acting alone. He has. You see, when you have a party, 100 people, like Jesus, even Christ that had 12, among the 12 he had 3. Even among the 3 he had 1.
Inner caucus.
Inner caucus. So, when you have a gathering of 12 members of the EXCO, there will be 3, and then there will be a beloved one. So, it is usually that 3, that decides. And there will be dissent. You can't have 100% consensus. There will be dissent. And they take note of all of that. How many people are you hearing are planning to decamp in Lagos? No.
They have a way of solving their issues.
It is a matter of time. It is a matter of time. It will soon get to some other people's stuff. They have a way, an arrangement of dispensing favor
I think that stands Lagos out.
Oh, that stands Lagos out. They have a structure. Even, somebody ran into problem with the party structure in Lagos, not Bola Ahmed Tinubu per se. And it was because he wanted to change some things, that he said no. Look, let me give you an example. In Lagos, the PSP, waste disposal, it was deployed in Oyo in the days of Akala too. If you are given a stretch from Monlete to Ojo to sweep and to clean, and they say, okay, how many men do you need to do that? I need 40. It will only be 30 that will be working. The other 10, the payment for the other 10 will go to some members of the party. Do you understand? So, and then you want to yank that off the mouth of some people.
That was his offense.
It was a major offense.
All right. Major offense. Okay. So being prudent can be a major offense in Nigerian politics. Okay, comrade, thank you very much for being a part of the program. It's always an interesting time riding with you.
Believe me, riding with you, it's an enjoyable one. Early Monday morning like this.
And wishing you a very fruitful week ahead.
You too, bro.
Okay, that's the wrap for today. We will be back again tomorrow morning, God willing, for a fresh edition of From the Ladies on your Super Solutions and 93.9 FM. My name is Adi Damola Lafenwa. Let's go out there and make it a money-making Monday. Good morning once again.
The views and opinions expressed in this live broadcast are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy of Solutions 93.9 FM.